It's your boy Nizzy, and welcome to the Spring 2022 season for the High School League presented by the eSport Company. Rocket League Division 2, Week 1, we had Penn Trafford taking on Brothersvalley, Salisbury-Elk taking on Forest Hills, Bishop Carroll versus Gateway, and Windber versus Hollidaysburg. Now, let's take a look at the top 5 plays for Division 2 Rocket League Week 1. We're going to start things out at number 5 with Burb of Penn Trafford, getting a little flip pass to Step Bro, who's going to go off the backboard back to Burb, and Burb gets one over the defenders of the Brothersvalley for that goal. Moving on to number 4, it's going to be Windber with this highlight as WASD Esports number 1. It goes all the way up, climbs the ladder for the save. Nice save there. Moving on to number 3, it's Penn Trafford in game 2 of this matchup with Burb just handling the ball so accurately, so well, that there's nothing that the Brothersvalley defenders can do. Moving on to number 2, it's Windber going off the wall to himself for WASD Esports 1 and putting that one home. And now for your number 1 play of the week, it is Random going up the wall, off the ceiling, gets a flip reset off the ball, bang, could not put it home, but gets a nice pass to WASD Esports, who was there, right place, right time, puts that one home. Let's take a look at that again. Beautiful flip reset. Trolley Man tries his best to make the save, but it is just not going to happen with a play like that. Here are your final scores. Penn Trafford 3-0, Windber 3-0, and your standings for Week 1. Hope to see you guys in Week 2. It's early. Let's get it. Nizzy out.
All right, hello and welcome. It is a beautiful day for some Rocket League, and of course, if you are just tuning in, this is the eSports Company High School League Rocket League Division 2 for the Spring 2022 season. What a fantastic day it is to be casting Rocket League. I, of course, am going to be your host for tonight, Alexander T. Kresek, aka Master Hamster, and I will let my co-introduce himself because this is fantastic.
Yeah, clearly not because I didn't tell you my full name or anything. I kind of kept it close to my chest because it's fun. Yep, I'll be joining you all as well. My name is Maximilian Thor von Neumann, and if you think that name is made up, I have my passport on my desk. I am not afraid to flaunt it. Here it is. But no, I also go by formal casting, and yeah, I'm excited. High school esports, no matter where it is around the globe, I try to get my hands in there. I love to get involved. I love to see what is happening. So it might be 7 in the morning here in Australia, but guess what? I'm still going to be giving it 100%, and I hope that these players are too.
I mean, absolutely. And the fun thing about high school, right, is how much talent, typically untapped talent, there are in the scene for the high school region. It's so good to be able to see what sort of talent awaits and what lies here. But while we're talking about this, let's take a look at the standing currently for Division 2 in this spring 2022 season. We have a lot of great teams happening here, a lot of great teams just showing up and doing some fantastic work. And of course, at the top of the standings is your last season champion. That, of course, is Penn Trafford.
Yep, and you also have teams like Windber, Forest Hills, Gateway, all finding wins in that first week of play. Meanwhile, Berlin, Brothersvalley, Salisbury-Elk, Bishop, Carroll, and Hollidaysburg still looking for that first victory. And while I can guarantee a victory for at least one of those teams, I can also guarantee a loss for one of the teams up top. And that is better explained when we take a look at our schedule for today.
Yes, absolutely. As we are taking a look at the schedule, first up, we of course have Windber versus Berlin Brothersvalley. That's going to be an interesting matchup, and I'm really excited to see it. Will Berlin be able to recover this early loss that they took against the reigning champions, or are they going to fall to the number 2 seed?
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting one to see, but my eyes, I'm going to be honest, I'm more looking towards game number 3 right there. Penn, Trafford taking on Forest Hills. Two teams that found pretty decisive victories in the opening week. Going to be going at it in our third game today, as well as game number 2, Salisbury-Elk versus Bishop Carroll. Two teams looking for their first win. I think that one can be a close one as well. Obviously, every game is going to show us something new, something different. And this early in the season, it still is hard to get a good grasp on these teams because all these players, they're still beginning this high school league journey. They're still trying to figure out how to communicate, how to synergize, how to work as a team, how best to balance practice, school studies, physical activities, because all of those aspects are going to be important throughout this league. You have to be good in body and mind. So we'll be curious to see who shows up today and who falls that little bit short.
Oh man, you said it perfectly, right? There's so much to balance, especially if you are playing in a scholastic league while you're still trying to get your studies down pat, while you're trying to figure out your schedule. A lot of these teams, this may be the first time that they're playing together on a unified team. This may be the first time that they're actually playing Rocket League with people in a format. So there's a lot of things going into this, and it's just, you know, it was just week number 1, so now we're on to week number 2. There's still plenty of time for these teams to kind of get the wind beneath their sails and kind of figure out how to fight back here.
Yeah, well, we'll see how they're going to do it, as it looks like players are jumping onto the pitch right now. Windber will be in blue. Berlin will be in white on that Windber side. It is random, as well as WASD Esports 1 and 4. I believe those are probably school accounts. As well as Berlin, you have Aromi, Nightmare 77724, and Spectral Flash 5.
Oh my goodness, and we are just jumping right in here. A goal right off the bat. Nope, just a little bit wide. Unfortunate. I was excited. I thought we were just about to start off with a bang.
Yeah, it looked like the potential was there. I liked how they were able to dish out that pass, and I don't want this to be the first goal. Come on, we have the potential for a pass off the backboard, clean touch goal. That gets saved, but the slow roller, 15 kilometers per hour, that's what goes in?
Oh my goodness. What a way to start off, and maybe this is how we're setting the pace for this map, as we just have a fun slow roller just make its way into the net.
Strange definition of fun, but yeah, that is what did roll in right now. Look, it highlights one of the problems that I think might be an issue for the Berlin Brothersvalley. Because of the nature of this high school league, we are going to be seeing a variance of players in skill, or rather, I should say experience. We're going to see a lot of different experience levels playing in this one, and I have the feeling that Berlin Brothersvalley, just based on the results that we saw last week, might not be the most experienced team. They're still on that learning path right now, and one of the things you need to learn kind of are defensive rotations, when to keep members back, and that first goal was kind of a prime example of when you probably don't need to press multiple players forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head here. Not only defensive rotations, but even a couple of aggressive rotations here. That's going to be a little bit of a snipe happening on the side of Windber here, taking right out of the hands of Windber Esports 1, so that Esports 4 gets it. This may be a little complicated as we try to explain the players.
No, there's nothing to explain the players. Yes, explaining that play. Pretty simple. That was a classic triple commit in front of the goal, and it worked. So there you go. But look, again, those are the types of situations that I'm going to be expecting in this first matchup, unfortunately. And I think the sooner that Windber realizes that they're going to be able to get away with plays like that, the more and more of those we're going to see. For the most part, though, I have been impressed. Windber, they've been mostly disciplined. The only reason why the score isn't a little bit higher right now is because a couple of their shots have been a little errant. That one we just saw, the one at the start of the game. But yeah. I expect as things do progress, we're going to see more, dribbles like this. Maybe them being a little bit more showy, a bit more experimental, because unfortunately, I just don't see the Berlin Brothersvalley side really able to challenge too much of what Windber is going to want to do.
Yeah, absolutely, especially as we see a lot of Windber going up in the air. Berlin typically keeping closer to the ground. They don't seem like they want to take any of these air commits or challenges in the air, or maybe just a little bit inexperience here, and Windber is going to tack another one onto the board. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. They are looking very dominant for this game number 1.
Yeah, and I'm going to mirror your sentiments right there. I think it's going to be the experience factor. That's going to be the difference in this matchup, and it was one of the things I was afraid to be the case. And yeah, if you don't have the experience in going for like aerial contests, and you don't have then the confidence because you've never really gotten to that level before, you're going to be more hesitant when trying to step forward and challenge those plays. You can see when the ball is on the ground, Berlin Brothersvalley, they're much more confident in stepping forward and contesting. And to be quite honest, they're actually winning, or at least coming off neutral on a lot of these 50s that are on the ground. But it's whenever the ball gets a bit more vertical, that's when they start to struggle.
Yeah, another area that they're struggling a little bit here is the rotations. Obviously, you mentioned the defensive rotations earlier, but even on any sort of aggressive rotations that they try to get, there just isn't a second man present for them to continue the push, and Windber gets away with a little of these slower plays that normally, if there was a second man present, they could continue their aggression at the end of the day.
It's not all doom and gloom, though. I actually am quite happy with the spacing on Berlin's Brothersvalley, considering where they're at experience-wise and what they're trying to do as another goal deal come in off of Windber. I like how they don't actually double commit that often, and they're more akin to kind of play spaced apart than they are grouped together. And I know being grouped together and having your spacing too tight is a pitfall for a lot of newer teams. So the fact that they're already understanding, okay, we'll have a better chance to win if we don't get in each other's way, ignoring the triple commit off the kickoff, I think they'll find better things in the future. And again, please ignore the triple commit off the kickoff, because that goes against everything I just said.
It was one simple mistake, and Random is going to add another point on the board for Windber. The defense on the side of Berlin just not able to get into position. They were also getting a bump. Oh my goodness. Well, you did say that you thought that Windber was going to get a little bit flashy with it, and they are doing exactly that right now.
Yeah, cheeky little Musty right there, putting it in. Clip that, showed off to your friends. Hey, look what I can do on stream. Also, look at this pass, perfectly placed. Another goal will go Windber's way. That's going to be a 6-0 lead now. Still a minute and a half remaining in our opening game, and I don't imagine things going to be changing too much unless we see a drastic change in play style from the Berlin Brothersvalley.
I mean, anything is possible in the world of Rocket League, but I have to agree with you here. Windber just feels like they're in complete control of this match. They just are, at the end of the day, winning these 50s at the net. Defense is struggling. They can't quite get the mobility that they want. Windber is just moving around all players of Berlin at this point.
And you can see how it's affecting the Berlin Brothersvalley confidence. Like at the start of the game, they were more willing to press forward. They were more willing to challenge. But on that last goal, there was just too much space given back to the Windber side. Everyone was sitting back. Everyone was kind of afraid to press forward. Off the kickoff, where they know it's neutral, that's where you're going to see them play it forward. And now actually, all three members are pushing it forward. And this is the first time we've seen that tighter spacing that I was afraid of in the past. It leads to an immediate clear over the top, off top, post and in. And that is why you've always got to be mindful of where your teammates are, especially if you're that third member, because the moment you go too far forward, you're exposing everything that is behind you, and situations like this can occur.
I think that's really where the inexperience comes in, what we were talking about earlier, where you get a little bit excited because you did win that kickoff. You do have an opportunity to push it forward, and just all three members of Berlin push forward, and no one is really left in the correct rotation position. There's no one filling that third man role, as they're all just trying to take a first man role.
Yep, and we'll see how that develops from there. I wouldn't go as far as saying they were all trying to go first man. It looked like actually all of them wanted to go second man, because everyone wanted to get close to the ball, but no one actually played it forward to hit it, which was a bit unusual. But again, I'm kind of expecting things like that. A nice little dish off to Random, who is going to slow it right down. Going to go for the one play. Another Musty attempt. Nope, just went for a simple dribble. All good. Another goal. 1 away from 10 right now. Windber, I think it's safe to say they've won game number 1.
I would completely agree with you. 34 seconds on the board. Making a deficit like 9 back is nearly impossible. I won't say it is impossible, but it's definitely a mountain to climb for sure. And Berlin just hasn't quite woken up just yet. There is still opportunity. This is a best of 5, so they have more games to play, more opportunities to feel a bit more comfortable in this matchup. Windber, though, is not making it easy.
This reminds me of like your average NA versus EU match. Oh, anyways. But yeah, with 13 seconds remaining. Oh, don't worry, Windber is the EU team. But with 10 seconds remaining right now, I do feel like I have to get one in there, okay? I have to get in one.
Of course, of course. Yeah, that is going to be the game. Windber may try to keep it alive a little bit longer, but they're not going to be able. Windber is going to win game number 1, 9-0. A very, very strong game number 1 coming out from Windber. Berlin struggling a little bit. I think if they can clean up a little bit of their rotations and even just play a bit more confidently, they very well may be able to take a couple points, even game number 2 here.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm going to be a Captain Realist a little bit right here. Again, we need some dramatic play style, and I don't even think it's the rotations that need to be fixed. If I were to kind of like highlight one area, it has been that aerial game. It's whenever the ball gets elevated, they're always going to be a disadvantage. So even if the rotations are clean, until they're willing to get up to the skies and challenge some of those 50s that are a little bit higher up, they're always going to be on that back foot, unfortunately, because Windber in this game, right out the bat, showed that, yes, we know how to aerial. We know how to aerial dribble. We have that in our arsenal. And Berlin hasn't showed me that. And that is such a key proponent, especially when you get higher and higher in the ranks of Rocket League, that until I can see Berlin establish themselves in the skies, I kind of feel like Windber wins every single game.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly so hard to argue with you there, because you make some fantastic points. You're right. The aerial game is really where we see a lot of these goals that they came from. Even when Berlin had a player in the net, they just weren't able to get the leverage or the positioning correctly, because they were afraid to take to the sky. They thought that maybe if they just get a little jump, they'll be able to stop some of these shots. But Windber, excuse me, knows how to take those shots into the air, hit those corners. It's just so difficult for Berlin to deal with that if they aren't willing to use some boosts and get up in the air.
But here is the thing, all right? Because I am going to push back at myself a little bit. I don't think all is lost. And just because you might be kind of out experienced in a matchup does not mean you give up. It does not mean you stop. This is a prime learning opportunity for Berlin. And I want them to keep playing and keep trying, because at the start of that last game, they were willing to press forward. They were willing to challenge. I say take those risks at the expense of possibly looking foolish. Go for some aerials. Push your limits. See what you can really do. And who knows, you could be surprised in yourself. Will it result in a win? Probably not. But hey, if you get one good 50 against an opponent, that is an improvement to what we saw in the first game. And there's no reason not to strive for it.
Yeah, and I mean, I would like to think that there's always a potential for a win, for a game, for anything. So maybe this is my optimism shining through. But I think you're right. I think that high school esports are the perfect time, especially in leagues like the esports company is running, for players to take those risks, to learn from teams who are maybe have a bit more experience, or maybe doing better in the league. This is a perfect opportunity for you to learn. Look at the Muskie, look at this aerial control, these aerial dribbles, the flip resets. Take those into account, figure out how you're getting out rotated or how you're losing these 50-50s. And this is the time to learn, to grow, and come back stronger.
I would personally, don't focus too much on the musty. I don't want to see Berlin try to pull off musties, okay?
That was a bad example, I understand.
Yeah, couple steps away from that, but we'll get there. You'll get there eventually if you keep working on it, all right? It is something that comes through us. Okay, looks like we might be having...
We're all alone now.
Uh-oh. It seems like everyone has kind of dipped on us. I'm not sure what's happened. Well, I'm sure we'll get to that shortly. I think, yeah, we're probably going to be cutting to a break, not to cut you off, Hamster, steal your role, but I think, we're hitting the panic button right now. It looks like there might be a server issue, just to go with the Discord issues that happened earlier today. Trust me, I know all of you know what I'm talking about right there. So we will be back with more Rocket League when we return.
All right, and we are back. Thank you so much for your patience. This, of course, is game number 2 of Windber High School versus Berlin Brothersvalley. Windber taking a very strong game number 1. How will Berlin respond? This may be more...
Oh, good save. There we go. That right there. Yeah. Aromi would not have gone for that challenge in the first game. And I know it wasn't the highest big save in the world, but it was off the ground. It was in front of the net, and he had to be proactive to make it. That's what I mean. Push your comfort zone as we see another reset pass attempt.
Oh my goodness. And another save too from Aromi here.
There we go. And again, like, these aren't the biggest pop-off saves. I know, like, these are for, you know, more experienced players. They could seem like quite simple, but I guarantee you for Aromi, where they're at playing right now experience-wise, those were pretty big saves. Nightmare went for a big one as well, but this time it does go in the net.
Yeah, and that was right in the corner here. Again, as we were talking about, the aerial control on the side of Windber is absolutely impeccable right now at their level, especially against a team like Berlin, who really seems to be struggling in the air.
Yep, that they do. And I mean, at that same token, I do like Windber going for reset passes. I know they're not being contested. It was sort of 0% chance of it being intercepted. But again, why not practice your mechanics? Why not practice, you know, sort of team play set up like that? And that's a very nice spike from Random, actually. That angle, a lot tougher than one might think. Right smack dab in the middle of the net, 2-0 lead.
I love that bounce pass too. A perfect way for Random to just get the momentum and the speed in order to make that goal. And at that point, Berlin just doesn't know where the ball is going to come from, who's going to hit it next. They're going to win the 50-50 on the kickoff, and they're going to get a goal off of it as well.
There you go. Last week they got one goal. This week they find one as well. This one off the kickoff. The double commit pinch kickoff. Are you going to see this in high-level play? Probably not, but that's why it works sometimes.
And sometimes they're just not expecting it, and Windber, obviously looking like the more experienced team, was not expecting a move like that.
Shot goes tight, follow up in 3-1. Windber gets the revenge.
Yeah, Windber, again, so good at putting the pressure on. They literally just can sit in front of this net and take shots while Berlin tries to formulate a defensive strategy here, but Random on the side of Windber, just making sure that these balls go into the net.
Yeah, I think what happened with that last goal was Berlin, after that last kickoff, they were feeling pretty confident. The back player actually went for a midfield boost, and the two front players went for the ball at the start of that, so they had no one back. And again, it was a case Windber with space. They're going to find goals. Case in point, that one was smashed. That pinch was huge. What speed is this one? 130 bouncing off the ground. That's kilometers per hour metric system, real measurement of speed. But what was that in FPH? 81. Nice.
81, yeah. Did you do that calculation real quick in your head, or did
no?
You
I looked at the stream over on the side, which is at like a 3-second delay, and I could see it there.
I was about to be very impressed that you could just switch it that quickly, or do that quick mental calculation in your head. But yeah, that was a fast one. The double commit ends up working out for Windber in the end. Not typically something you're going to see work out, but I think with this sort of gameplay that they have, they can afford to do these double or triple commits.
Oh no!
It's going to work.
Oh, Aromi, that's awkward. Look, I appreciate the go. Aromi in the past had a couple of these big jump saves that looked fantastic. This time, they just launched themselves right over the ball right there. But again, it goes back to the point I made in between these games. Take those risks at, you know, the expense of possibly looking foolish, because you're going to make some saves. You're going to make some plays you didn't think you could make. That was just the example of looking a little bit foolish.
Yeah, I don't think Aromi was ready for that sort of play. Nope, not quite, unfortunately. But Aromi playing goalie here for the most part, just sitting in net, trying to stop the aggression on the side of Windber. But Windber themselves are getting blocked out by the fourth man.
That's in.
That's in. The goalie's gonna get a score here on the side of Berlin.
There's a lot about this strategically that I'm not a big fan of right now. However, I'm not going to go in on it. We're going to celebrate with Aromi. Redemption for that last play. Pre-jumped themselves to oblivion, comes back around, plays goalkeeper role that shouldn't exist in Rocket League, and turns it into points. What do I know? Aromi's back out on top.
Absolutely. And I think for that play in particular, the fourth man on the side of Berlin really coming in clutch. The goal posts and the crossbar really doing a lot of work for Berlin, making sure to stop any sort of aggression on the side of Windber.
Aromi still playing in that goalkeeper role right now, and you know what? I think that is going to be a little bit annoying for the Windber side because they're going to have to like essentially go back to that aerial game. That's going to be their go-to. But when it works, it works. Off the post and in. Random gets their, I believe, 4th of the game.
Yeah, Random has just been a goal machine here. Getting just a nice little tap, little flip into the net. Aromi can't deal with it at this point. If they could use a little bit of boost, get a little bit higher, they may very well be able to stop a lot of these shots. But Aromi just being very conservative on the boosts.
Well, yeah, you can't get boost when you sit in the goal the entire time. Unfortunately, there's no boost pads there. But you know what?
You get starved by your teammate, yeah.
True. I mean, again, it's why I say, hey, the goalkeeper role probably shouldn't exist. That's the reset we were looking for before, by the way. WASD Esports 4, the one who puts that one in. A very nice reset, very nice touch. I feel like Esports 4, I'm just going to go with 4.
That's easier.
Their aerial mechanics. I feel like Random on the side has been playing a lot of ones right now. Windber is a team that's looking prepared to me.
Goodness, yeah, Windber looks so strong. Trying to get back to that 9-point lead that they had in game number 1, and this shot off the wall, self pass off the wall, is going to help them get there. No one in net. Aromi, the goalkeeper, just missing.
Also, I'm just going to straight up say this one as well right now. The 2 goals that Brothersvalley has gotten this week, twice as much as last week, and I'm unironically saying that double touch was absolutely insane. What? Hold on. What?
Unironically saying the double touch was insane. Yeah, I hear you. Oh my gosh, so clean. Windber, I mean, you said it. They are looking so prepared, so ready. This, I mean, I may be looking at them as a potential for upstarting the previous champion in Penn Trafford.
Kind of need to see them play against each other, though. I mean, this game is not going to be reflective of what happens when they go up against a team with similar experience as them. There's a nice little ceiling scoop. Teammates going to connect off the backboard. Random's a bit too far back. But the point I was trying to make before I was so rudely interrupted with the best double touch of the afternoon so far was the fact that, like, hey, the 2 goals by Brothersvalley, that's twice as much as last week. That's improvement, and that's what I mean. And you push yourself, when you challenge, when you look towards that small incremental growth, you're going to find things that you can build off of. So, you know, shout out to Brothersvalley. They've improved from last week. Yes, Windber is currently, you know, getting double touches and musties and flipping all over the place on them. But that shouldn't be what's important to them. It should be those small victories that they're focusing on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about it a little bit in the past. Earlier in the stream, but it's all about growth. It's all about learning, and playing a team like Windber is the perfect opportunity to start learning and growing. You can take a look at a lot of these flip resets as an opportunity to improve your own game.
Both of those flips were so late and neither worked, and that's a cheeky little play from, I believe, Nightmare, putting that through. I love this. Aromi steals the boost, gets the demo, pass through the corner, and Nightmare seals the deal. There you go, Berlin. That's your best goal yet.
Absolutely. 12 seconds remaining. They're not going to be able to make this 6-goal deficit, but this is much better than game number 1 where they lost 9-0. Now 9-3. They are working on a little bit of a comeback here.
Yeah, it's, again, incremental growth, small improvements, a little bit of frustration from Esports 1 after getting demoed in the play previously, and we don't see the reset go in. But you know what, Windber, again, they're winning this series. I'm going to make that. I'm going to say it's a definitive statement, even though anything can happen in Rocket League, and I could be trying to channel all my caster powers to curse them right now, but they're going to win. Berlin, they have a lot that they can learn from this series. 4 shots compared to the 1 of last game, 5 saves from Aromi, something to highlight. There's improvement there, and I'm curious to see where this team can go from here.
Yeah, Aromi really trying to put the team on their back here, trying to do everything. And what I really love while we're talking about growth is Aromi leaving the goal, right? You talked about it before, where a goalkeeper role shouldn't really exist in Rocket League, right? So no. Aromi realizing that and getting out of the goal, moving, taking a more aggressive position or to set up or get a goal of their own. This is the kind of growth that Berlin needs.
Yeah, exactly. And if the goalkeeper role comes back, I'll go into my tirade about why I hate the goalkeeper. It's something that you only see in high school esports traditionally, and I've covered a fair bit, and so it's a practice rant. All right, it's a practice rant. I should run it down by now. Yeah, it's especially around the third PowerPoint presentation, things really get into the meat and potatoes of it all. But no, we'll see where we go from here. It does look like we're going to be kicking off our next game quite soon. As soon as those players jump in, it will be game 3. Probably will be the final game in this series. Obviously, it's been a bit one-sided affair thus far. It's why we're celebrating the small victories from Berlin. They have come. They do exist. And we're also celebrating the mechanics as well from Random, from Esports 4. Those have been exciting to watch as well. So as we go into game 3, it's not as if it's an uninteresting game. There's still some fun things to look out for.
Oh, how could you do Esports 1 wrong like that? We've seen... Yeah, we've seen a flip reset or 2 from Esports 1. They have been doing their best. Wow, Berlin actually wins the kickoff here, but not quite able to get much off of it. And we're back on the side of Berlin, but a roaming taken to the air, actually.
All I'm going to say is I have a Brett Favre bobblehead on my desk, so anything with the number 4 has a little special place in my heart. Esports 1, though, looking to kind of prove me wrong. Maybe a Cam Newton fan. Either way, that's a 1-0 lead.
Oh, traditional sports. Well, what are these references? I don't understand. But what I do understand is fantastic Rocket League and Esports 1. Heard that you were just not putting respect on that name and had to start it off strong for Windber here.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice dribble, pretty nice goal. And now we're going to add some more to it, perhaps, as Random connects with one. That is a pinch that you will rarely see even in the highest level of play. Very well executed. I love this shot.
Oh my gosh, what an interesting way to set up the ball for your teammate. But Random basically tees it up for Esports 1, who is just going to knock on that second goal of the game. Windber up 2-0, and we have just passed the 30-second mark. Windber's out for blood right now.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse before it gets better, I fear. Random slow plays it straight into the net. Again, Random's been practicing those ones. That's how you get ball control like that. Add the little bump, for good measure at the end right here. Bap, right on Romy. 3-0 lead.
Oh, well, yeah, Windber is really trying to beat that 9-point scoreline that they've had for both game 1 and 2, trying to get to the double digits before the end of the series. As you said, Windber has just been so strong. It nearly looks impossible for Berlin to come back into this series. But we are celebrating these small wins. Berlin does not have a goalkeeper at this point. They're being very proactive, a lot more proactive than we saw at the beginning of the game for their own defense and for an offense here. Oh, well, as I say that, they just abandoned the ball.
Well, yeah, because again, it goes back to the problems that we saw back at the start of the game. As soon as the ball gets elevated, they don't know how to handle that. Unfortunately, the aerial component just isn't a playbook that they have. So we are going to see another goal, this time from Random, straight down the middle. Look, I'm sorry, Windber. After that pinch, I don't think you can pull off a goal better than that. You kind of peaked in the first minute of game number 3. It's done. You're good. I don't know. Unless you pull off something like absolutely crazy. But even then, I don't even know. That pinch was one of the best I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, not much more to say about that. But Random gonna knock another one in. Windber is on a tear right now. Like I said, I really do think that they're trying to get to that double digits at the end here. Oh, yeah. Just coming off to a weird angle, just gonna knock it in with the wheels. 5-0. Not much Berlin can do right now. Just learn, just observe, make sure to save the VOD. No. Ooh. An opportunity? It looked like there was an opportunity. Nightmare, we haven't talked about it a lot, but what we have seen from Berlin are a lot of demos. They've been doing a really great job of disrupting the flow of Windber, or at least trying to, by getting a lot of these demos, some of these bumps, and as I say that, Windber's going to get a demo of their own.
Yeah, I mean, again, the demos have been nice. Most of them have been defensive. It kind of seemed more out of circumstance than necessarily being proactive outside of that last goal that we saw from them at the end of game number 2. But you know what? That physicality is an important thing, as you see Nightmare right there. It's another defensive bump that actually clears up half of the pitch. Now we're looking for that proactive, aggressive bump. You're absolutely right. I think that is an aspect of Berlin's Valley Brothersvalley of their gameplay that I'd like to see develop more. Again, the thing that is lacking most is that aerial game. And if they had an aerial game, I think we'd look at a completely different series because their game sense seems on point. That musty was huge. Not as good as the pinch, but a close. It's getting there. That's like a 7. If the pinch was like at 9.5, that's like a 7. But I just feel like, yeah, if they had that aerial game, if that was in their arsenal, this series would have been a very different looking one.
Yes, I completely agree. And at the end of the day, right, that just comes down to experience and straight up mechanical skill, which is something that Berlin can learn, they can work on, and they can grow from. So I definitely think that if you are a Berlin fan at home and maybe you're looking at the series feeling a bit down, feeling a bit depressed, don't be. There is a lot that they can grow from, and all they need is a bit more time and practice, more experience, maybe some VOD review, maybe some aerial training practices, and they can come out stronger than ever before.
Yeah, I'm not sure on, for this game, the VOD review as much as I think the aerial training practice is probably where your focus should be. Like, seriously, I think that's where their focus should be. VOD review is super important. I'm not knocking VOD review, but that's usually saved for, I think, more closer contested matches. Right now, it's pretty easy with the VOD review. You can tell it's like, oh, every time the ball gets high, we're unable to commit to the play. Let's hit that aerial training pack because, again, it's all about balance when it comes to the high school because you can't really dedicate full time into this game like, let's say, an RLCS player could necessarily. So you need to balance with your school studies, physical activities, all of that. And so choosing how and prioritizing what to work on, where to improve on, it's another important school that high school sports teaches us, both traditional and esports. And it's why, yeah, I would like to see Berlin Brothersvalley focus a fair bit more, a little bit on communication and a lot on mechanics in the future. Get in that practice tool and, you know, start doing some reps.
Wait, you're telling me that a high school student doesn't have the same amount of time as an RLCS pro does?
Well, actually, it depends on the pro. I should put an asterisk. Not everyone is a freak like Amphis, and not everyone here knows who Amphis even is. Watch OCE. 8-0 lead for Windber.
8-1 lead, actually. True. As a Romy is actually going to get a goal. Again, as we said, a Romy trying to carry Berlin on their back. They are going to get 1 goal. A minute 27 remaining. They're probably not going to be able to get the 3 goals that they did in game number 2, but at least they can get 1 on the board. It just makes the loss a little less demoralizing if you can at least get 1.
Yeah, I'll see if they're going to find something. I mean, that's 4 goals in total, by the way. For
4 goals in total, yeah.
400% increase from last week. It's all about how you look at things. It's all about perspective right now. 1 minute remaining, and all right, now we're starting to see, you know, a little bit of more fun approaches. Everyone was chasing after the ball right there on that Berlin side. Romy does fall back, but can't stop the double touch from Esports 4. Look at this again, right in front of the net, just squeaks it on through. Fantastic play. 1 goal away from the 10-point play game.
Yeah, and Esports 1 was there to back them up just in case they were a little off. But of course, Esports 4, you talked about them earlier. Their mechanical skill is on point. They are looking so strong. Esports 4 just going to purposely avoid the ball so that Random can get a touch on it. And again, Berlin just cannot get this ball outside of their half. Esports 1 trying to bait him a little bit. 40 seconds remaining. Not much left into this game. As we just see Windber trying to go for a little bit of a style points as the last 30 seconds roll around.
I think they've been looking for style points since 1 minute into game number 1, to be completely frank. And you know what? They've scored a lot of them.
They have.
I can't understate how impressive that pinch off the backboard was. And I know we've seen musties. I know we've seen double touches. That backboard pinch is up there for one of the best I have seen, all right? So we're going to give them the credit for this win right here. 3 seconds remaining. Ball will hit the ground. It will be over. I think we're going to see one last attempt at the 10-pointer as Random slow play it into the wall. Spectral Flash runs disruption. Control maintained off of the backboard and not into the net. 9-1. 3 games in a row. 27 goals in total. Windber wins the series.
In very clear fashion. Yeah, absolutely. 9 goals every single time. Maybe they just like the number 9. That they're just trying to go for number 9 here, and they were able to succeed. I would like to point out that Esports 1 Didn't put respect on that name. Did not give them enough credit. 5 goals this game.
Okay. I'm gonna defend myself real quick.
Oh, really?
And by defend myself, I mean what I'm gonna say is if we're gonna highlight each of these players' strengths, right? Random, we'll say he was the ones player, that 1v1, doing really good. Esports 4 had the mechanics, mechanically fantastic. One had the best game sense, and all of One's goals, they were the clear cut, bang it straight through, find the gaps. The game sense was there, probably the smartest player, not the one trying to get all flashy with it.
Yes, okay. I can agree to that. I completely agree. But I love the dynamic that they have. Like you just explained that dynamic. And sometimes you need that realistic, that game sense player to keep the other two in line, just to make sure that they are scoring and that they're continuing to look so strong as they did. I am very excited to see more of Windber as we get deeper into this season. And of course, I'm excited to see Berlin grow and learn. But for now, we are going to be taking a short break as we get ready for game number 2. Formal, can you remind me what game number 2 is going to be?
Salisbury-Elk versus Bishop Carroll. And my coffee has actually just arrived, but I think we're actually jumping to game 3. So it's going to be Penn Trafford versus Forest Hills. Surprise! We're going straight to my game of the week. You know what? Everything's coming my way. Coffee's arriving. It's going to be the 2 undefeated teams. This is going to be good.
Oh, yes. I am so excited. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this short intermission. All right, hello and welcome back. This, of course, is the Esport Company's High School League for Rocket League Division 2 of the Spring 2022 season. And we are on to match number 2 with Penn Trafford versus Forest Hills. Formal, how are you feeling about this match?
I mean, this is kind of the match that I was looking forward to the most at the start of the day. The 2 undefeated teams about to go at it. You have the defending champ. You have 2 teams that haven't really been tested yet either, so it's going to be their first real challenge. And we have players named after Pokemon, which I'm wearing the Pokemon shirt right now. Of course, I'm going to love this match.
Absolutely. These, as you said, these teams are both undefeated right now. So this is only week number 2, but this is a great time for these teams to test each other out, see where they fit on the seeding and how they are going to do in the overall season as we get right into it.
Yeah, and it's a little bit shaky at the start, actually. I think we might be a little too over-eager. A couple unforced errors, a couple swings and misses, and then a ball left on its own, some lonesome, as we see, multiple players trying to find strikes. But yes, this matchup, it is underway. Penn Trafford, they're in green. Forest Hills, they're in that goldy, browny, bronzy color. I don't really know how to describe it. Royal Pain, the Banana Monkey, as well as Raya Goya on the Penn Trafford side. Forest Hills, the Mega Blaziken, Vaco, and Strike Force 435.
Yeah, I feel like Raya Goya is going to be a difficult name to go, but Vaco, wow, what a shot.
Yeah, this was a opportunity, I think, capitalizing off of an awkward touch right there. Banana Monkey wanted to get that ball driven more towards the corner, instead just kind of dropped it right in front of the net. And because we were seeing panicked defense from the Penn Trafford side, no one was really able to recover in time. Driving straight into it, Vaco gets the first goal.
Yeah, and Raya Goya was there, just not ready for the essentially non-existent clear, but Vaco gonna get another one here.
And it's a similar situation from the same player. Banana Monkey just gets a light tap more towards the front of the net, taking too much time in trying to find that clear. And Vaco is just going to capitalize on these slower defensive plays twice now. Just being proactive has resulted in a goal.
And Forest Hills starting off strong, making sure that they are not underrepresented here. Remember, Penn Trafford does have that win from last season under their belt as the champions. So Forest Hills trying to make sure that people aren't selling them out just yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's still very early days right now, and these mistakes, they're kind of unforced errors, as much as I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to take away from Vaco with that, but both of them have come off of awkward touches or sort of slow play from Banana Monkey. And I feel like that's the kind of thing that as the series progresses, as you settle down in, we're going to get less and less of those unforced errors. As we can see right now, this actually is going to be a prime opportunity. Regoya just pushed the shot a little bit wide.
Raya Goya not able to get that touch that they were looking for. But I mean, I will also argue, though, that some of these awkward touches, weird 50-50s, that's a part of Rocket League. So, yes, I do think they will get ironed out as we get deeper into the series, but I wouldn't necessarily take that away from Vaco, just kind of taking advantage of what happens during the game.
And that would bring me back to my point and kind of how I feel like the meta overall has changed in Rocket League in particular over the past 6 months, where for about a year and a half, we kind of saw this heavy defense meta where teams pretty much always played for the counterattack, and this was largely established in EU. But in recent months, it's kind of flipped around, and we've been seeing more and more aggression be rewarded, where players will take that risk and kind of send that one player forward to challenge just in case of that off touch or that mistake. And to see a team like Forest Hills kind of implementing that at this high school level has me really excited about their outlook and their approach to how they play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. As you were talking, we were talking about a little bit of these mistakes happening here, and just kind of chaos on the side of Forest Hills goal. We saw a double commit, and no one on the side of Penn Trafford was there to take advantage of that. So we just a bit of spaghetti on the wall there for both teams, not able to capitalize.
It emphasizes my point, does it not?
Yeah.
Because it's the team that's willing to step forward and take advantage of those mistakes. They're the team that's in the lead.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. And wow, 3 minutes have passed. I didn't even realize it. Just a little under 2 minutes remaining. This is an opportunity for Penn Trafford. Not going to quite get there fast enough, though.
The game does go a lot faster when a team isn't putting up a goal every 20 seconds, as we do move along right now. Strike Force will get the ball to the backboard. Raya Goya, did I get it right that time? Was able to get a bit of a clear. Mega Blaziken still treading some power down. Eventually, we'll see that clear across the box. I'm conflicted right now, Hamster. I don't know which name I like better, Mega Blaziken or the Banana Monkey.
I don't know. I of course, am a Pokemon fan as well, so Mega Blaziken is a fantastic
He's the worst starter in that generation.
Okay, I feel like we can have this discussion and / debate later. We don't have enough time during this Rocket League game. We have a minute remaining, and as we see, Forest Hills is still in a very comfortable 2-0 lead right now. Penn Trafford just hasn't woken up just yet. There's still time, and of course, this is a best-of-5 series, so they still have games to play, and maybe this is just a game that they're feeling out, warming up a little bit.
I think both teams are kind of in a feeling out stage right now, and this is most evidenced by how spaced they're playing around each other. This has been a very open game. Banana Monkey takes advantage of that and puts a shot on uncontested and straight into the net.
Look at that. I love these self passes from the corner. Banana Monkey making up for a couple of the mistakes early on in the game. 31 seconds remaining. There is enough time for Penn Trafford to get a goal to tie it up and possibly take us to overtime, but they got to move fast.
Well, this kickoff is going to fall right into their lap. Raya Goya actually didn't have boost when they were playing forward, so now has to fall back. Very interesting that they chose not to get that back corner, and as a result, they have to give up the middle of the field. A little bit of a mistake as we hit the final 15 seconds. A lot of work for Penn Trafford to do.
Absolutely, and a save is going to come out from here, but 5 seconds remaining. Banana Monkey
right across the middle.
Oh, just a little high. Royal Pain's not going to be able to touch it, and with that, I think it's about to just end here. I don't think they'll be able to keep it alive.
Yeah, that will down. That will end it. Forest Hills, they're going to go ahead and take game number 1. It was 2 quick goals from Vaco, capitalizing on defensive mistakes. But as I said, as the series progressed, we saw less and less of them. We saw Penn Trafford actually establish themselves up a fair bit more. And even though they lost that shot differential 5-3, if we were to take the second half of that game, it really felt like Penn Trafford had a bit more of that momentum.
Yeah, it definitely felt like in the beginning, Penn Trafford was being a bit more reactionary with their plays, right? They were just trying to stop the goals that were coming, or the shots coming their way from Forest Hills. And by the end, it looked like they were playing more into the Forest Hills half. So they feels like they were just starting to wake up, starting to get their momentum a little bit. I'm very excited for game number 2, just because I think that kind of feeling out, that warming up period is done for them. And now they should be able to play the game that they want.
Yeah, we'll be able to see if they're going to be able to pull that off. But again, we'll see how this one plays out, because Forest Hills, at that same token, I mean, they weren't making those same mistakes, right? They seemed like the more consistent team, at least after the first game. I want to know what happens when we see these spaced out approaches start to get punished a bit. And by that, I mean, often when you're really, really spaced out, you kind of find yourself in situations where a team is able to express themselves a fair bit more mechanically and a fair bit more in sort of team cohesion, where you can see these long drawn out pass plays, or we can see a slowed down tempo to go for something a bit more mechanical. It puts pressure on the defense in the sense of, yes, you put yourself in a better position to make a play, but if you miss that play, you can get punished so much more, and you're giving your opponents so much more space to make said play. And I'm going to be curious to see if that's that same approach as we move into game number 2.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you said it so well. I don't think there's much more that I can add on to that. Forest Hills trying to start out on the kickoff with an attempt, and we saw Strike Force being very quiet last game. So I think if Forest Hills wants to continue this lead, this advantage that they have, all players need to be involved. That includes Strike Force, who unfortunately only got 12 points last game. Just quiet, maybe not getting enough touches on the ball than they probably should be. So hopefully, if every member...
Yeah, that was a little bit awkward. It's a bit of a swing and a miss right there. Vaco is going to go ahead and cross up the pitch right now. Royal Pain actually winds up losing possession. You can see Mega Blaziken will be the one playing forward. Strike Force played a patient game, gets it to the backboard, and that's going to be a goal. Mega Blaziken puts it in.
Oh my goodness. Let's take another look at that, because there was a bit of utter chaos here. Players all around the net. And yeah, Raya Goya just not in the right place. I think they missed the ball earlier and overshot it. Again, though, we see this Penn Trafford is just losing out on these 50s. They're not getting on the right side of the ball, especially in front of the net. And that's been costing them goals at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, that last one, it wasn't so much that Raya Goya was in the wrong place. It was just they lost the 50 beforehand and were kind of in recovery mode, but the play was a little too fast for them. So I'm not even going to blame them that much. That was the first goal that we saw from Forest Hills that I can say they earned by straight up outplaying their opponents. And that's going to be a worrying side for Penn Trafford, because you need to win those 50s, especially when it's in front of your net. When you lose those out, you put the rest of your team at such a disadvantage, and the end result was what we saw. A 1-0 lead right now in favor of Forest Hills.
But they have to be careful. Forest Hills' goal is open right now. Mega Blaziken doing a fantastic job of stopping any sort of attempt, and now is going to try to pass it into the corner. Raya Goya is there to get possession. Vaco, the player to look out for, practically soloed the goals for game number 1, but as you said, it was a lot of just missed 50-50 opportunities.
And I'm not convinced right now, to be unfortunately a little bit honest, that Forest Hills is the most cohesive team. There was just a span of about 10 seconds where Vaco and Strike Force, they were synchronized swimming across the middle of the pitch, and that does mean they were double committing as well, but it was like the exact same movements. It was very strange. Royal Pain, meanwhile, on the Penn Trafford side, is actually being proactive. Every time I see that ball go across the middle of the pitch, they're playing it forward, they're looking for bumps, they're looking for demos, and now we're going to see a shot straight on. That time, though, is not going to be a goal.
Oh my gosh, that miss from Vaco almost cost Forest Hills the goal. We saw them trying to dribble off the wall, but unfortunately missed when they tried to get it off.
That's the ball.
Just barely.
That's still going to be a goal. Banana Monkey off the post. No way does that not go in. Eventually, it's Raya Goya who puts it through.
That was a little bit of pinball there at the end. That ball was bouncing all around and barely tapped in by Raya Goya. Strike Force just not quite in position. They were almost there, though. They were able to get a little bit of touch on the ball.
Yeah, they were almost there, but unfortunately, even with the bounce off the post, it was a little bit too difficult of a read for them to make at the end of the day, which is kind of why I was thinking, like, even if that comes off the post, just because of the positioning of Raya Goya, that was going to be a goal unless Raya Goya somehow missed what would have been an open net. And to their credit, they almost did. I mean, the defender sitting there could have made things a little bit awkward, and you should never take open nets for granted. I'm from OCE. It's a thing that happens here a lot, unfortunately. But with 2 minutes remaining, tie ball game. I don't know. This one's still up in the air right now. I need to see more consistent rotations from Forest Hills. I need to see more consistent touches from Penn Trafford. Each team, they have their little weaknesses. It's whichever one gets exposed first that's going to miss out.
Yeah, what I really love about this, a double commit there. Unfortunately, second man wasn't quite in position to keep up the offense on the side of Forest Hills. An opportunity. Royal Pain's going to get past the defense and put Penn Trafford in their first lead for the series. Look at this. Mega Blaziken just not quite there. Right over Strikeforce, who wasn't pre-jumping it. And with that, Penn Trafford 2-1, a minute 30 remaining.
Royal Pain living up to their name and just being a Royal Pain right now against Forest Hills. Every single time we get to see offense coming from this Penn Trafford side, it's off the back of Royal Pain, either finding that clear, finding the bump, or in that situation, finding the shot. They've been all over the place offensively. Defensively, there's been some issues, but right now when you have that lead, you kind of focus more on what's going for you. And Royal Pain, shout out to them. They're playing a great game of Rocket League.
Yeah, I just noticed this while we are kind of looking here. Vaco's gonna try to jump it down. What on earth? What sort of craziness happened here? Let's take another look. Vaco knocking it down. Mega Blaziken is there, gonna get it right over Royal Pain. What I was saying before that goal, something I just noticed, and this was something that we talked about in game number 1, in series number 1 rather. I just saw that Strikeforce is playing more of a goalie role, staying back in the net rather than kind of finishing up that third man rotation. That may come back to bite Forest Hills as they get deeper into this series.
Yes and no. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that experience thing right now. Strikeforce is playing whatever style is most comfortable for them. So it's kind of been a mix of sometimes playing a very, very deep third man or playing super far forward and actually looking for bumps. Like, they looked a little lost at times. And again, they were the ones who unfortunately double commit before. And I think they kind of realized that. And now they're just trying to give as much space to the other two players as possible. That time, though, Strikeforce actually got a decent touch. But you can see, instead of following it through and getting boost, they're now reversing across the entire middle of the pitch. So a little bit of work in progress, I think, from Strikeforce. However, they're in good hands. What I've seen from both Vaco as well as Mega Blaziken, they can be good coaches for this player. So while Strikeforce might look a little bit rough right now, watch their improvement throughout the season and keep your eyes on this game because we're going to an overtime.
We absolutely are. Smart play by Mega Blaziken, who kept the ball alive a little bit and then realized it was probably just safer to drop it down. Royal Pain trying to dribble past. Vaco not going to let it happen, though.
Yeah, but couldn't get that second touch after Banana Monkey. We'll leave it for Mega Blaziken instead. Not a lot of boost. Means we'll see that deeper lob. Now trying to stay behind it. Blaziken again with another touch. Has Vaco kind of lurking in the middle of the pitch right now. All you need is that clear, yet Rayagoya steals it away.
Fantastic. That's what they did. Rayagoya is just going to run through Strikeforce. Now a little bit of a power play on the side of Penn Trafford. They can't do much with it. Strikeforce spawned in just the right position to just be a little bit of a nail or a thorn in the side of Penn Trafford.
Well, that lob is going to be dangerous because of this bounce. Rayagoya is there. It's going to come off the post, but not in. Mega Blaziken with the diving save. Now Rayagoya a second attempt, but there are too many defenders in the box. Forest Hills survive.
Oh my goodness, how did Forest Hills survive it? Now they have an opportunity. Mega Blaziken not there to finish it up. Strikeforce, again, as we were talking about it, just playing a bit more conservative, really focusing on, or really relying more on Mega Blaziken and Vaco on the team. Royal Pain's gonna take it to the corner.
Vaco might have a chance right here if they beat out Monkey, which they do. Royal Pain gets the bump, but Mega Blaziken's eyeing it up. Spacing starts to collapse. No one goes for the ball. Miscommunication from Forest Hills actually concedes an open net.
Oh, that is so heartbreaking. And a minute 30 into overtime, Vaco and Blaziken are doing their very best to keep this game alive. Penn Trafford just putting on the pressure. They have certainly woken up here. Strikeforce gonna get demoed as well in the back.
So I'm not sure how much of that was caught on camera, but Strikeforce was just driving back and forth like these little fidgety moves in the goal. And as that was happening, it was a full-on line-up, drive straight into and demo. That was premeditated. I'm annoyed at you existing type play.
Very unfortunate, but hey, this might mean that Penn Trafford is a bit annoyed by the fact that by Strikeforce's presence in the goal, they thought it might be best to take care of him. Unfortunately, it didn't net them anything.
Strikeforce just did the type of aerial I always pull off, where you line yourself up, get underneath the ball, and miss it entirely. That's going to be a goal, though. Vaco found the breakaway in the 2v3. Unfortunately, it looked like a bit of a disconnect happened on the Penn Trafford side from Rayagoya, who has been one of their more proactive players, taking advantage of the power play. Forest Hills go up 2-0.
Yeah, and I love, you know, Strike Force understanding their limitations at the end there, right? Instead of going for the ball, trying to mess up the shot, they instead did their best to run interference at the end there, just get out of the way, make sure that their team can finish it off. And Forest Hills wins that 3-2. They're now up 2-0 in this best of 5 series. So this is match point for them right now.
Yeah, and that one's frustrating again, I feel like, for Penn Trafford, because game 1, couple early mistakes getting used to the game winds up costing them. Game 2, they were competitive, and honestly, their attack, in my eyes, looked a little bit more dynamic than Forest Hills for a majority of it. But they lose a player, and then they get punished in that power play situation. So if they feel a little bit snake bitten right now. Forest Hills, they've just done a good job in sort of taking what's been given to them and making it work for them. So as we're going to kind of wait and see what happens with that third game, whether or not Rayagoya will be able to make it back or not, we'll find out soon enough. I'm worried for Penn Trafford because I feel like they need their team at full strength if they're going to make the comeback.
I completely agree. I mean, really, when we're looking at this Forest Hills team, Vaco and Mega Blaziken are just so fundamentally strong players when we look at the overall league here, that I think Penn Trafford, who does seem to work better, more in tandem with their team, more cohesive as a team, really need to all be there, all be present in order to take down both Mega Blaziken and Vaco, who have just been essentially running it here.
Yeah, it has been a case where like the two of them have just been in control, and unfortunately we missed predictions. I see you now, Twitch chat. You wanted your predictions. You wanted to cheer for one of these teams. If I were to make a prediction at the start of the game, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I would have gone with the defending champs, kind of that known versus the unknown, right? And I would have been wrong right now.
I completely agree. I definitely thought Penn Trafford was also going to at least win game number 1. But yeah, we are wrong. Forest Hills on the cusp of a 3-0 victory in this series. This is very interesting. Not exactly what I expected, but that's kind of high school esports for you.
I got good news. Rayagoya is back. We're going back to a full 3v3. So here we go. Full strength. It's a long journey for Penn Trafford if they're going to come back against Forest Hills. They've got to win not 1, not 2, but 3 in a row against a team that is feeling very strong right now. Vaco in particular kind of has been that player to watch, capitalizing on every single mistake. Just a couple more times, a couple more missteps, and this series could be gone in a 3-0 fashion. Kicking off game number 3, we are underway.
Yes, we are absolutely. You got to be careful here. Something that happens maybe a little bit in the pro scene, but a lot more in the collegiate and high school scene, is the reverse 3-0. And that, of course, is always looming at the back of every player's mind when they get into a situation like this. And Penn Trafford is going to be playing their hearts out if they want to stay in this series.
And this is one of those series where I feel like the reverse sweep actually is something that can be discussed because it hasn't been one-sided victories. In fact, Penn Trafford at times has looked like the more consistent team. So it's very possible in this type of situation. I've only seen realistically 1, maybe 2 goals from the Forest Hills side that hasn't come from an unforced error. But you have to acknowledge those unforced errors. They've been that sort of Achilles heel for the Penn Trafford side. And until they can play a consistent, clean game, you still need to give the edge to the team in goal.
Yes, absolutely. And oh my gosh, you got to be careful here.
This was a mistake. This was a mistake, but they get it in the end. So here's the thing. I don't like how they don't follow through. There is no reason for both of your players to be cutting right there. Both of the attackers should have gone out of the way. Vaco would have had an open net, but instead, both other attackers try to slice and cut it off. Yes, they score in the end, but this goes back to sort of the communication and the double commits that have been plaguing this Forest Hills side. The spacing has not been consistent for them.
Yeah, and I think this comes down to just inexperience for both teams. We've said it before, Vaco gonna get a nice demo in the corner. But we've said it before, both teams are looking a little bit inexperienced here. What is happening in this net right now?
Strike Force was looking for a bump, and no one from Penn Trafford wanted to go for the ball.
Inexperience, as as I was just saying, leads to some silly situations like this, and lots of just whiffs.
Oh, that's an open net. No, no.
Just couldn't get the right angle on it.
Yeah, it was hard. It was a hard open net. It was open. It was there for the taking, but It was a tough shot, so I'm not going to be too critical of that one. However, Royal Pain going for the bump. Here comes the shot from the Banana Monkey straight down the middle, and we are tied.
Yeah, and I think that was a fantastic team maneuver here. We see Vaco trying to get in position, but the bump is perfectly timed so that they cannot get up in the air to stop that. And as we've seen, Strikeforce is just a little bit more conservative of a player. Haven't seen them quite too much in the air, so I think that ball was just a little too high for them.
It was a little bit off target, as we're going to see Vaco clear it from their own backside. Gets over the top of not one but two defenders, and that leads to the shot. Royal Pain barely able to make that save. I think that shot was a bit of a surprise for the Penn Trafford side. Vaco showing, yeah, Mega Blaziken may have missed that angle, but I will hit those if you're not careful.
I was surprised by that shot, so I could definitely see why those players would be surprised as well. Royal Pain trying to come in for the pinch off the wall, but doesn't quite hit it in the right direction. Unfortunate. But right now we are tied up halfway through this game. It can really go anywhere.
It very much can right now. Raya Goya has Blonde Monkey across, Banana Monkey, I should say, across the center. Doesn't matter. That's still going to be a goal because Raya Goya will do it themselves. 2-1 lead. The first lead for Penn Trafford, I believe, this series.
Oh my gosh, they did not. It's actually the second. Last game we saw Penn Trafford go up 2-1, and then we saw the tie. But yeah, the second lead that they have, it almost seems like they've always been trailing. They've always been behind. So even like, yeah, it feels like their first lead, because for some reason, somehow Forest Hills is able to just keep and get the lead early on, and unfortunate bump there in the air.
Vaco with the back pass, that was risky, but that shot is not off the post, not quite in. Strikeforce tries to keep it in the box. Royal Pain wins out on the challenge. Now we'll slow it down. One defender left. Has Banana Monkey across the middle. This time they do go for the pass, and the touch is delicate and clean. 3-1 lead.
I do not know what is happening here, but Penn Trafford is absolutely waking up. They are putting point after point on the board. Banana Monkey in particular has been looking so strong. They were looking strong before, but now they look absolutely alive. And I think Penn Trafford is realizing the players that they need to focus. We see Vaco getting bumped out of position a lot more.
Yep.
Mega Blaziken also feeling...
No! Oh, no trust in the team. The demo was there, the net was open, but they went for the corner pass instead, not trusting that the demo would come through.
That is so unfortunate. That would have been absolutely vital, especially as we're going to a minute left here. Strikeforce is going to try to get a touch. It's going to hit the crossbar. Vaco, can they get something? But no, not going to get the angle for it. Mega Blaziken. Now keep going.
Yeah, just Mega Blaziken passing it back to themselves, having fun, throwing it around. Look, 3-1, less than a minute left. I don't really see this one, unfortunately, kind of coming back. Or fortunately, depending who you're for. I think Penn Trafford actually put down this game at 3 on lock and key, and this is the Penn Trafford I was expecting to see. They're a lot more committed. The mistakes aren't there that we saw before, and they found a couple very nice attacks down the middle of the pitch. Now, on defense, they have struggled a bit, but this time Banana Monkey will get that clear.
Absolutely. What really happened was Raya Goya and Banana Monkey's goals in tandem has really just put a stop to any sort of Forest Hills momentum that they were gaining, and now they just feel like they're stuck in the mud. Vaco trying to get a shot, but it's just too tight. They can't do anything. Strikeforce gonna try to keep control, but there's no one there. There was no one there to keep it up. Strikeforce being a lot more proactive and aggressive here.
They are, but they have been, like, ever since, you called them out the goal keep, actually, they haven't really sounded the goal since. And has tried to be more of that bumpy, demo-y player. Either way, though, Penn Trafford, that was that consistent play I wanted to see. Most importantly, some of those passes they were connecting on through the middle of the pitch right now, I think were fantastic because as much as I hate to say this for the Forest Hills side, Vaco has been realistically the only consistent player when it comes to 50s and interceptions. Mega Blaziken has had a couple of smaller victories, but I would say is probably batting under 50%, and Strikeforce has been a good disruption, but hasn't really been good at challenging the ball. So much of the Forest Hills midfield play is reliant on Vaco, and you pointed it out. As soon as they were bumping and kind of removing Vaco from the equation, that's when Penn Trafford was able to open up the pitch and set up their more dynamic attacks. So it's been a really great adjustment. They honed in on what Forest Hills' weakness could be, and this is why I was saying normally I'm against the reverse sweep, but something about these two teams tells me it is still very much on the equation.
Absolutely. And it's all about adaptation, making sure that your mindset, that your mental is still in the right place, that you can find things like that, find those weaknesses and exploit them. And Penn Trafford is doing a fantastic job of doing that. Are they able to keep it up for the reverse sweep? That is the question that we must all be asking ourselves. Now the series is 2-1, still in favor of Forest Hills, so they are still on that cusp of winning the series. But Penn Trafford, after that game number 3, they're looking just so strong and looking like they've cracked the code to Forest Hills here.
Look, I don't want to play spoiler at all right now, but you asked that question and immediately Spooky Panda in the chat was like, yeah, it's going to be 2-2 soon, all right? So they're telling you what it's going to be, okay? They know what's going to happen. Personally, I don't know if I trust Spooky Panda. I mean, they're spooky, they're scary, and it's not even October yet. So we'll see how this next game goes. Forest Hills, they don't want to go to that game 5 because anything can then happen, but momentum has to be on Penn Trafford's side. Game 4 underway.
Absolutely. And oh my gosh, Vaco is going to stop anything that Royal Pain could be doing. Instantly demoed in the corner now. Vaco has an opportunity. Gonna just wait for the rest of the team to catch up. And that seems what we've seen a lot, right? Vaco going as hard as they can in the paint, and then they just have to wait for the rest of the team to catch up. And typically it's just Mega Blaziken.
Yeah, it's either Mega Blaziken or Vaco right there. Vaco was actually playing a bit further back, and there was still an opportunity for Mega Blaziken to kind of cross up that defense. That's been a concern for mine. Penn Trafford, on defense, they don't stay fluid. They like to kind of just park themselves in front of the net, and it's left them exposed a couple times because, A, you have no momentum for those touches, so the first touch is always going to be weak, and that's how Vaco was able to find a couple of those early goals. And then as well, it kind of leaves yourself exposed to sort of that cross-up because your reaction time is never going to be as fast from a standstill. So I want to see more fluid defense from the Penn Trafford side.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we see higher and higher level of gameplay, it really comes down to speed and mobility. And I don't think
oh, that was painful.
Barely missing that out. Unfortunate. It happens, especially the nerves are coming into play here. You have to win this game if you want to stay in the series. Sometimes it just leads to little mistakes like that.
There was all 3 members of Forest Hills on the Penn Trafford side when that whiff happened, and it was a straight shot. Yeah, sir, it was a straight shot. But yeah, it will happen sometimes. You can't expect clean play all the time.
Vaco, speaking of clean play, gonna do it themselves. They hit that Thanos. They said, oh, you blocked it? That's fine. I got my own rebound. Mega Blaziken was there in position to take it, but Vaco just said they wanted it for themselves. Now, 2 minutes in, just about 2 minutes in, Forest Hills takes another lead. And it seems like that's what's happened every single game is Forest Hills has gotten this early lead, and then Penn Trafford comes alive in the later half of the game.
Yeah, and the lead has kind of been gained the same way. I feel like every single time with a slow clear across the middle of the field on the defensive side, and Vaco just steps forward and punishes. It's a little bit frustrating, I think, from a Penn Trafford point of view that they've been punished like that so many times, although this time it's Mega Blaziken actually creating the space. No one makes a good touch. Vaco has a chance for the aerial, but it's set up a bit too high. Now Strikeforce, the third member, needs to make contact with the ball, doesn't, but did buy enough time for Blaziken to rotate back. This still could be an attack, though. Royal Pain sitting in the middle of the pitch. They're the one who's going to be looking for the strike. Has an opportunity, leaves it for Banana, but Blaziken gets there first.
Oh my goodness, that was a scary situation, especially as the ball flies slowly in front of the net. But now Forest Hills has an opportunity. Vaco is going to get a touch, not going to be able to follow it. Mega Blaziken there in net to knock away any sort of aggression that Banana Monkey can add. And Mega Blaziken trying to keep up this aggression. Again, these touches are not very clean right now that we're seeing. It's a lot of whiffs, a lot of just not quite hitting the ball where you want to. So we have big bounces, slow balls.
I like to call
really...
it panic mechanics.
Panic mechanics. That is a perfect way to describe it. Absolutely.
As we watch Vaco put one off the crossbar, there's a double commit, and neither can put it in. Blaziken still in a safe spot. Strikeforce still in the box, actually. Forest Hills has to be careful here. Eventually, everyone does rotate back, and just in time for this challenge. One out by Vaco. Rayagoya in the corner. Doesn't get enough touch behind that one, but it's the second touch that clears it back to the Forest Hills side.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, there's an opportunity. Royal Pain, wow, past two defenders. Royal Pain making sure that they live up to their name. 1 minute and 21 seconds. This is exactly what Penn Trafford needed.
So yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. Strikeforce missed out on the challenge, and I don't think either of the other two members on Forest Hills were expecting it. Oh, that kickoff could have been a disaster as well, yet again for Penn Trafford. Blaziken needed a bit more power if they wanted to get that to the backboard. Now Vaco has to play it forward. He's going to waterfall it down just outside the box. Deep clear. Strikeforce from their own net gets cut off by Vaco, and now we don't see a clear.
Yeah, and that comes back to the lack of trust in your teammates, particularly in Strikeforce. We saw it before. Oh my gosh, Rayagoya gonna make it past Mega Blaziken. Penn Trafford is up 2-1 with a little under a minute remaining. But as I was saying, there's a lack of trust in Strikeforce. Earlier in game number 3, where we saw that demo come out from Strikeforce, they didn't believe that it was going to happen, and here they didn't believe that Strikeforce was going to be able to tap the ball to clear it.
Yeah, and that sort of cutoff is what put the ball in the awkward spot, and then Vaco wasn't able to make the play. So that lack of communication, that lack of trust actually costing Forest Hills the lead. 40 seconds remaining. There still is time for one, maybe two more attacks, and they may get it with that demo with Rayagoya. Vaco is going to have to go for a big clear, and I expect them to slow the pace down, try to go for the 1v1, but it's Royal Pain who wins it out. Royal Pain versus Blaziken, loses to Blaziken. There was a double commit. Only Rayagoya back on defense. 3 attackers pressing forward. There's the demo. Here's the setup. Blaziken with the shot, and the game is tied.
Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. They knew that they needed this in order to keep it alive. Mega Blaziken and Vaco just tapping the ball in between each other to make sure that it goes in. 17 seconds remaining. I highly believe that we're going to overtime, unless
doesn't matter if
miracle
or
play.
No, next goal wins.
Absolutely.
We do see Strikeforce from the goal. It could be Penn Trafford. They go for the bump with Royal Pain, but can't make contact with the defenders. Rayagoya shut down, but there's an opening. Banana Monkey straight into Vaco. Aerial dribble across the middle of the pitch. The goal is open, but the ball gets away, and Banana Monkey downs it for overtime.
Oh my goodness, this is really heating up here. Next goal wins. Remember, Forest Hills is on match point. Penn Trafford needs to get this keep alive.
Oh, how? I have no idea. For all intents and purposes, Blaziken should have whiffed off of that pre-jump. Instead, finds the touch, the angle a little bit too tight for the go-ahead goal.
Oh my goodness. Vaco gonna get a touch right into midfield. No one's quite in the perfect. Oh my gosh, he almost caught that. That was so close.
This is tense. Like, there's a lot of these back and forth right now. Rayagoya should be caught by Vaco, but it's an awkward touch. And make a play from underneath. Keep your eyes on Royal Pain right now. They're the ones furthest back, but instead Blaziken crosses up the midfield, crosses up the defenders through the corner. Strikeforce is a bit too far back.
Strikeforce gonna get a touch on it. The ball not going in favor of anyone here. Vaco gonna have to set up. Mega Blaziken gonna get the touch here. An opportunity. Players in the air, gonna get off the top. Can Vaco? Strikeforce is actually there! Oh my goodness! And Forest Hills is gonna win it 3-2 at the end of the day.
The entire series, the question was trust. Can they trust Strikeforce? And in the overtime where it matters the most, Blaziken draws in the double commit from the two defenders on the corner, goes for the delicate pass to who else but Strikeforce underneath, and the trust was there. Strikeforce, it was an open net. It was a tough one to miss, but in the past, they hesitated to put the ball in their hands. Talk about redemption. Talk about giving your least experienced player that chance to sign. So well done by Forest Hills. They win a very deserved series.
Absolutely, Forest Hills is gonna win 3-1 in the entirety of the series. But mark my words, this is not the last that you've heard of Penn Trafford. I definitely think that they will come back stronger and ever before with a vengeance. But for now, we just have to celebrate the win for Forest Hills and celebrate Strike Force, who I do not think is going to forget that goal.
I mean, that's fantastic, right? Like, I love those types of moments because Strikeforce, like, I don't mean to be too harsh on this player because, again, it's the experience thing, and the lesser experience did show in a game where everyone else was playing at such that high level. But then to put them in the hero position and to see them capitalize and put it through, hats off to you, Strikeforce. I look forward to seeing how you improve throughout this event. But today, you get to be the hero, you get to be the star of the show. Even though I think Vaco probably would get my MVP vote, that's neither here nor there. That series was a lot of fun.
That series was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I was here for it. I'm glad that you were here for it, Formal, and I'm glad the audience at home was able to see a fantastic high school Rocket League match. But for now, we're going to be taking a short intermission as we set up game number 3 of the day, and that is going to be Gateway versus Hollidaysburg. So don't go anywhere. You are not going to want to miss this last match of the day. All right. Hello and welcome back. You, of course, if you're just tuning in or watching, you're just watching the Esports Company High School League Rocket League Division 2 Spring 2022. We have got a fantastic match lined up for you tonight. That, of course, is Gates versus Hollidaysburg. Formal, how are you feeling about this matchup?
I'm curious on this one because we've already seen a similar matchup to this one earlier today, right? The 1-0 team taking on the 0-1 team, and it didn't really go so great to the team we kind of put at a disadvantage. However, I feel like this one has a potential to be, I think, a little bit closer. Now, we don't really have all the stats available for both these teams, but we do kind of have an idea of how Hollidaysburg played in that last game, and it wasn't like they were getting shut out. The games didn't go their way. They lost 3-0 to Windber, but we saw how good Windber was before, and I don't think there's shame in losing to that team. So I feel like Hollidaysburg is going to be a fair bit more competitive than what we saw from our previous 0-1 teams, and I feel like this could be another close series on our hands.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Especially as we take a look at some of these players here, there are just so much opportunities, specifically in high school, to have an upset happen. Even if maybe one team loses out early, there is so much potential for improvement, for growth, and for the ability to take on some of these teams who may have performed better in week number 1.
Yeah, I think we actually should be able to bring up the rosters right now so we can take a closer look at these two teams before they get into it. But I do agree. Again, it's still early days. This is week 2 of 6 of sort of our regular season before we make that cut into the top 8, before we start vying to see who's going to get the chance to play at a LAN, which is the end goal, I feel like, for all these players to have that unique opportunity. So eventually we will get to that point. But for now, it's still the start of their journeys. They're still kind of learning how to overcome difficulties, communicational, training regimens, how to best fit Rocket League into their life. We're still at that stage of the event.
Yeah, I mean, and you bring up a fantastic point about the ability to be able to play at a LAN at an established school with an esports program, St. Francis University, who's really helped run and set up this program here. So that's a big deal, and is probably the first LAN for many, if not all, of these students here. So that really means a lot for the students at the end of the day.
So slightly off topic, very slightly off topic, but before I get too bogged down in this Rocket League, do you ever make up scenarios in your head?
Yes, but in what situation are you thinking?
Well, right now, I can't help but notice a tennis racket in the corner of your room, and I want to call out all of these people that don't exist, that think tennis rackets don't belong in corners of rooms, because I'm just going to turn my camera a little bit, like, down there. I actually can't see where it's going. I just want to point out I have a tennis racket in the corner of my room as well, all right? Small world. That's what it's all about. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to say. Look, I'm ready to get into some Rocket League.
I love that little aside there. Tennis users, players unite.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't had a whole lot of time to go out and play tennis, and it's been winter, so it's
Hey,
been
there's our roster.
Here we go. Yes. All right. We get to take a look at Gateway's roster. We, of course, have Alpha Key, Pop Puke, and ZidRX.
Yeah, that's in that very nice looking green, might I add. Always going to be a fan of the green teams in that regard. That is going to be our first lineup. Meanwhile, on the other side, I believe coming up any given moment, we should see Hollidaysburg, which consists of Big Poppy 2122, Jan Force, as well as Trolley Man.
Yeah, and I always love to have the other casters say the names just to see how you pronounce them. And I think that's how we will go with it. I thought it was Raleigh Man, but Trolley Man makes more sense at the end of the day.
Does it? Well, it's the IT is capitalized in game. You don't see it there, but in game it's the Raleigh Man. So you might actually be right, or is it Trolley Man? Because the first of each one. Actually, I think it is Trolley Man. Also, Shredder Luke is subbing in for Jan Force. So just something worth noting, unless it's a name change. I don't really know. I don't care that much. I care more about the Rocket League itself. Hollidaysburg in blue, Gateway in green, and we are underway.
We are starting out. I'm so excited, especially after that last match with Forest Hills versus Penn Trafford. I am just so excited and so stoked for more Rocket League action and an early opportunity on the side of Hollidaysburg. Not going to quite get anything out of it, but they're going to lob the ball in front of the net.
Back past the not to Big Poppy, but to Pop Luke. Does kind of clear it across the pitch. Eventually, we will see more pressure being established by Hollidaysburg, and I like how Hollidaysburg is actually playing from the middle of the field right now. They're not letting Gateway get any touches without being challenged, and that one looked like it wasn't challenged. The challenge came earlier. It just missed by a wide margin.
Yeah, and Trolley Man doing a great job of getting into the position to keep control of the ball. What I like is the slower play from both of these teams, kind of feeling each other out, but also trying to keep possession at the end of the day. It's not something that we see a lot in specifically high school. We see a lot of these teams just trying to get rid of the ball, right? They just want to shoot it. They just want to get it downfield as quickly as possible. But we're going to see Big Poppy just walk it into the net.
So I agree with you. I'm all for slow play at times. I think this defense was a little bit too slow this time around. That came from the double commit on the attack. There's still one defender back, and I don't understand where exactly Pop Puke, I should say, I've been calling him Pop Luke, Pop Puke, had been playing before. A little bit awkward right there, but hey, Hollidaysburg, they're going to take it, 1-0 lead.
Absolutely. I mean, Big Poppy, uncontested, was able to just walk it into the net at that point. Now, Big Poppy off the wall, going to pass it to Trolley Man, but Trolley Man's going to whiff.
Look, all I'm saying is that, like, when Big Poppy was playing baseball, there was a lot of walking when pitchers were afraid to kind of pitch against him. I can imagine the defense maybe thinking the same thing. Either way, 2-0 lead, this time off the backboard over to Shredder Luke, and Hollidaysburg out in front.
What I've really liked out of Hollidaysburg is the team play. They've been doing a lot of passing, a lot of back and forth, a lot of keeping possession and making sure that everyone at least touches the ball a little bit so that they're constantly moving downfield with possession. And I really like that. We haven't seen that out of Gateway just yet here.
Yes, we do see a little bit of a cross-up at the moment. Where's the third member? Big Poppy's actually rotating back, so space should be given back over to Gateway. They're going to use it for a clear down the middle, and that was one of those situations where I would have liked to see them slow it down because there was no one realistically challenging them at their side at the moment. That's where they can take that little bit of patience to establish themselves and set themselves up. But once you start doing that, maybe you get to see Hollidaysburg start to cheat forward as the game progresses. Either way, both these teams, they're still feeling each other out. Big Poppy swinging a miss, a rare strike from the Pop. I have to make baseball preferences all day long, even though I've actually forgotten the name. I think it's David Ortiz was who Big Poppy actually was. Big hitter for the Boston Red Sox. I don't know. We're halfway through game number 1.
Yes, we are. I appreciate these references, even if I don't completely understand them. I love the attempt and the reference itself happening here. Shredder Luke trying to make something happen here as they get past all the defenders, but as we see, just a triple commit from Gateway, just trying to make sure that ball does not get anywhere near the net.
I'll be real brief then. Big Poppy, big dude, hits lots of home runs, probably wasn't in the best physical shape. As we move along right now, that's going to be Big Poppy. Look, the big is in front of his name for a reason. Trolley Man makes it 3-0.
Yeah, I really wonder why Trolley is in front of Man here then. Maybe because he is a machine when it comes to these goals. Hollidaysburg is up 3-0 right now. 1:50 remaining. Still a little bit of time to work with. Still a little bit of time for Gateway to kind of catch their breath, get a little bit of a gate beneath them. But oh my gosh, so much pressure from Hollidaysburg.
So I've just discovered something that's semi-Rocket League related that I absolutely hate. You know those little drone things that you kind of see on the side of the pitch right now, like those yellow ones with the cameras, as we see the defense play through? They make a humming noise. I am just realizing this now in the free camera, and I cannot stand it. What I do like is that goal, though. Alpha Key beating out Big Poppy on defense to make it 3-1.
We can go back to that robot thing because I'm very interested, but I love Alpha Key beating out the defense there in order to put Gateway on the board. Why? Why would they program those drones to make a noise? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, and it's like a humming noise, but like with a bunch of reverb, so it sounds like it's like that futuristic sci-fi like a noise thing, and I can't stand it. 3-1 lead though right now. That is one of those things that now that I've noticed it, I will never be able to unnotice it again. Thank you, Champions Field. But yeah, 3-1 at the moment. Off the backboard, Trolley Man was there, but doesn't find the redirect.
I'm not quite able to get in the right position. 45 seconds remaining. Gateway has an uphill battle. If they want to try to tie this up, they're going to have to put everything into these last couple of seconds, but it is not looking like it's going to.
That's awkward. It was the double whiff. But, you know, it's 3 strikes and you're out, and there was only 2, so the defense was able to fall back and make the save this time around. As Poppy hits another fly ball back to the opposite end of the pitch. Ashley's going to try to stay with it. Alpha Key goes for the slow play, but this is what I was talking about before. If you keep going for the slow play, eventually defenses are going to cheat up, and even though the goal's not coming through yet, the third touch just might do it. Alpha K makes the save.
Yeah, and with 5 seconds remaining, no way that Gateway is going to be able to tie this up. So it looks like Hollidaysburg is going to win out 3-1, and they are as they get it down. Hollidaysburg winning out game number 1, 3-1 against Gateway. I don't know what a match. It just felt like Hollidaysburg was just playing together a lot more, and I'd like to see a bit more team play, a bit more aerial play on the side of Gateway as we move into game number 2.
I agree. I would like to see more aerial play, but I kind of feel like I could say that with every single team right now. I think that's just something that this entire league can be working towards in the future. But in the context of these games right now, I think if you want to see an immediate improvement coming from Gateway, faster play in general, particularly on that defensive side. I know that slow play was something that you highlighted before as a positive, and yes, it was working when Hollidaysburg was constantly sending 2 defenders back, but the moment they started cheating forward because they recognized what Gateway was doing is when you need to mix it up. And I understand I'm asking for a fair bit right here. On-field adaptation is one of the toughest things to do in the middle of a series, let alone in the middle of a game. But if you want to win events like this, that's what you have to do. That's how you have to adapt. So the pressure is on Gateway right now. Can they adapt to get themselves back in the series?
Yeah, and I think when I was talking about the slow play, I think it's good at times, right? Changing up the pace of the game. But I think I definitely agree with you there. The slow play, especially when you're trying to play the ball slowly in front of your net, just does not work, and it lends itself to the offense getting a free chance at a goal here.
Yeah, exactly. Just ask, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name right now, even though we kind of literally just saw them play, but Volk, I believe it was. Just ask how they feel about those slow plays in front of the net, right? Just ask
Vaco, yeah,
Vaco, that was it. Yeah, just ask how they feel about those, because they'll pop them in again and again and again. So we'll see how this game does go out. Pressure's going to be on our team in green. Gateway looking for the comeback. Meanwhile, for Hollidaysburg, they're still feeling pretty confident, I would have to imagine, as Big Poppy will set up the first offensive attack.
Oh my gosh, what a perfect positioning. Oh, a miss, a whiff. Big Poppy just going to go a little bit wide. Gateway, they need to attack that ball. They cannot let that slowly fall.
Oh, not like that, though. Oh, no. Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. They got lucky. Shredder Luke missed, but that was the triple commit whiff. And when you're doing that, that usually ends in disaster. Very, very fortunate Gateway is actually now on the attacking half of the pitch.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Gateway has an opportunity. iTrolleyman just there in time. Shredder Luke is also going to get a demo. This is an opportunity. Big Poppy in an open net is going to get it.
Yeah, that's a big go-ahead goal right there. Big Poppy just cheating on the other side of the pitch. Not even really cheating, actually. It was just kind of a backfield commit. My apologies either way. Yeah, I'm surprised that went through. It looked like Alpha K got a little bit caught up going for the boost, missed it, and tried to correct themselves. I'm not entirely sure what happened to the defense there. All I know was, well, it wasn't there, and now it's a 1-0 lead.
Yes, absolutely. No one on the side of Gateway was quite ready for that. I mean, you've got to be ready even for those half-field shots. 'Cause sometimes they come out and sometimes they are on target. Big Poppy not known to miss with those shots. And that's just going to give Hollidaysburg an early lead. It's up to Gateway now to try to tie this up or get a lead of their own because they've just been trailing this entire series so far.
And we'll see what happens. Double commit from the Gateway side. He sees all players on the wrong side of the ball. Big Poppy will use it to create that space. Eventually, though, it was a little bit too slow, so the defense was able to rotate back, attempt to cross them off. Zindrax does commit, but kind of awkwardly, and that works in their benefit. So the slow play means that they don't get punished immediately, but eventually these shots are going to keep coming through. Double commit on that save. They fight for the boost. No one's in the middle of the field. I feel like against a faster team, things would be going a lot worse for Gateway right now.
I completely agree, especially when we see so many of these double and triple commits. Gateway just can't quite seem to clear it properly, even when they're committing so much that if there was a faster team who could really kind of take advantage of those weaknesses, we would definitely see a lot more goals. But so far, Gateway is hanging in there, doing a fantastic job of just stopping any sort of aggression from, well, doing their best to stop any sort of aggression from the side of Hollidaysburg.
Awkward touch from Shredder Luke. I thought he would take the shot in that situation. Instead, tries to slow play it around the corner. But I feel like the defense for Gateway is just getting more and more passive the more and more they're pressured onto their own backboard. It's almost like a death by 1,000 cuts, but it's more, actually, no, I think a better thing would be being beaten into submission almost. Like Gateway, they're too afraid to step forward, they're too afraid to challenge, and eventually, this is what's going to happen. Big Poppy makes it 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, right now, they're Gateway is just trying to react to survive. That's what's happening here. They don't even look like they're concerned about taking the ball, taking the offense. They just want to stop the ball from going into their net. But as you said, I really do like the death by 1,000 cuts analogy, because by the end of the day, right, Hollidaysburg is just going to keep shot after shot after shot, and eventually they're going to start slowly letting them in more and more. As we see iTrolleyman get a beautiful open net shot here, taking Hollidaysburg up 3-0.
That was a very nice shot, actually. Cross pitch right into the net. My goodness, 3-0 lead. And I'm going to have to agree with iMod Nova right now. No one's stopping Poppy, and no one's really trying to stop any of the Hollidaysburg side, it feels like. The challenges are always that little bit late. And yes, more often than not, it has been Big Poppy taking advantage of it. But as this game is progressing, I've been seeing iTrolleyman do it more. I've been seeing Shredder Luke attempt it more, maybe with a slightly lesser success rate, but they're still there having that go. This is something that's going to have to change moving forward if Gateway is going to find a way back in this series.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a great block and an even better follow-up. iTrolleyman was able to block the ball. Big Poppy's there. It's going wide. Shredder Luke, though, an opportunity. The triple commit is going to create a wall that Shredder Luke cannot get by.
Okay, no one gets a passing grade on that play. The triple commit on defense, that missed. The two open nets, that missed, and Shredder Luke as well at least touched the ball. So I don't know, maybe you get a passing grade, but everyone else I think wants to put that one behind themselves. Off the post, Big Poppy again misses the open net. That's twice in a row. iTrolley, then Big Poppy can't put it into the back of the goal.
That was, oh my gosh, iTrolleyman had the right idea, got past the defense. Oh my gosh, speaking of defense, though, Hollidaysburg's defense is falling apart. They must have just been so focused on offense. And again, they cannot finish off any sort of goal here.
I mean, they don't have to, though, right now. At least the Hollidaysburg doesn't. That's a good shot from my trolley, man. I guess we can call that redemption. I don't know. After missing 2 open nets in a row, you hit the third. There you go. Third time's a charm. And there's even a defender that time, even if they were a little bit out of position. So a 4-0 lead. Trolley Man is going to feel good after that. Smack dab in the middle. Game number 2 under lock and key.
Yeah, 4-0. Big Poppy gonna win the kickoff. No one is there. No one is there. Going up 5-0.
I blinked and missed it. Oh, that's...
Oh, that is...
It happens.
It happens. It does, especially in a high-pressure situation like this.
It shouldn't happen, but it does. Like, again, I think just trying to attempt sort of that half flip, or not the half flip, the speed flip to get themselves there. Don't attempt half flips on kickoff, people. If you do that, you're going to have a bad time. But yeah, the speed flip attempt was there, kind of led to a miss. It happens. 27 seconds remaining in this game. Again, Hollidaysburg has this under lock and key. We'll see what happens moving into game 3 right now. But so remember before in our last series, I was talking about some series, you get that feeling that the reverse sweep is going to be possible. This one, I'm feeling less confident on. Unfortunately for the Gateway side, they just haven't showed me that killer instinct yet. They can still turn it around. I'm not writing them off completely, but I feel like it's going to be a tough ask.
Yeah, no, I really like how you put it. Like, they don't have that killer instinct. They are playing very passive. They're not being aggressive. They're not really looking too much. Maybe a couple shots at the end there, but they're not really looking too much to be aggressive, to take those shots. They really just feel like they're trying to stay afloat at the end of the day. There's no killer instinct, like you said, to get that ball into the net.
There's a lot of panic mechanics, though. I mean, I've never seen a game with as many triple commits, unfortunately, from the Gateway side. And often they were getting in each other's way. I saw multiple times where Gateway players were bumping into each other, fighting for the same boost, fighting for the same ball. The synergy, not quite there yet. And again, I think Imod Nova kind of put it best, where it's like one team, Hollidaysburg, they're playing so much stronger as a team right now. Now, I'm not saying Imod Nova is, you know, the pinnacle of Twitch chat intelligence. They're saying Big Poppy's MVP. I kind of feel like it's Trolley Man, but for the most part, I'd say they're like 90-95% right. So hats off to you, Twitch chat. Yeah, it's been an interesting series thus far.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Hollidaysburg just showing why they deserve to have that win earlier on. They are looking very, very solid. Trolley Man and of course Big Poppy just being such key players. I don't even know if I could choose one or the other. I like Big Poppy's style, but Trolley just seems to be very, very consistent with what they've been able to do.
Yeah, as we do get ready to get in. Hey, look, I'm on Nova. All I'm saying is 95%. That's an A. That's a passing grade. In fact, you're probably getting the best grade thus far. We're going to kick off our next game, game number 3. It could be our final game of the afternoon. Hollidaysburg, they're 1 away from getting a nice bit of redemption from week 1 and a clean sweep over a team that's currently undefeated. Hey, both of those things seem pretty nice right now. Are they going to be able to put Gateway away? We're about to find out.
Oh, I like that. Put Gateway away. It's looking like it. Hollidaysburg has been so strong in this matchup. Gateway just doesn't seem to have an answer, particularly because of how passive and how slow that they've been playing. There's just no desire for them, or it feels like, at least I'm sure that they definitely want to win. They can't seem to get out from their own goal.
As we do see a little bit of back and forth happening right now, and we're seeing, you know, a more pressed forward Gateway. There you go. Nice job by Pop Puke 21. They're able to win a challenge across the middle of the pitch. That's one of the first times we've seen him go for it. Now they're going to be forced back on defense, but those are the adaptations they're making. They're a little bit more aggressive. They're challenging that little bit more. Whether or not it works for them, I don't know. That's the best shot of this series so far.
Oh my goodness. And you have to, I was about to say, you have to be so careful when you're bringing the ball in front of your own net like that. Shredder took advantage of that, was able to get that 50-50 to go off the top there, and Trolley Man was just in the right place at the right time. Oh, they have to be careful! Big Poppy!
Every stream, there has to be one. There has to be one that you can kind of call an own goal. I think we're going to call this one kind of that own goal. Zidrax went for the diving save, yes, but wound up putting it in the top corner of their own net and threw off their other defender in the process. A little bit awkward, but Big Poppy gets credit for the point.
Oh my goodness, and that really just came from good positioning from Big Poppy to be aware that something like that might happen.
Big
where
Poppy cheated.
Yeah, he cheated, exactly. And that is exactly what they needed. The defense was just not ready. Oh my gosh, speaking of not ready, getting past Shredder Luke.
Yeah, but there were 2 other defenders back there, so it was kind of a doomed attack from the start. Although this shot's going to be dangerous off the top post. No, that needs to go in. But hesitation in the box. Pop Puke going too high means Big Poppy clears it out safely.
That attempt was dangerously criminal. That Gateway was not able to get that. It almost looked like it was bouncing inside the net, but unfortunately they weren't able to finish off Shredder Luke there. Just not gonna win out against Zidrax, who's gonna be able to knock it away. Trolley Man has an opportunity. How to boost though.
And this time Big Poppy puts in the open net. That's gonna be the 3-0 lead.
Oh my goodness. And just over 3 minutes remaining. Hollidaysburg is so in control of this match right now. They're in control of the pacing, the speed, and the shots on net. Gateway just seems to be struggling in all aspects right now.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I'm actually going to make an argument that this third game has been my favorite Gateway we've seen yet. Even though they've let up, it's because they're taking more risks, and they're actually playing the game, I think, more applicable to the style that they're going to need to moving forward. They're struggling because they're not used to it yet, and they're taking more risks against a team that's a little bit more experienced than them. But I'd rather see a team make those challenges, lose out, than not make the challenge at all. Because occasionally, you're going to get situations like this, where they do get that goal, where they are able to put one into the net. So this is the result of a higher risk style, but eventually they do get rewarded.
Yeah, I mean, it might not even be, well, okay, it is a little bit of a higher risk style, but at the end of the day, right, you can't win by staying in your own goal. You have to be out there. You have to be proactive. You have to be making plays, be making passes like that.
Exactly. They're no longer like falling victim to the death by 1,000 cuts. They're trying to take earnest of the game into their own control, and it's working out not that often. In fact, you could say it's kind of, helped Hollidaysburg at this stage more than it's helped them. But it's about setting that precedent in the future. And this is the kind of play style that I want to see Gateway adapt as we move through this tournament, because while they might not find the victory here, I guarantee you they'll be a better team as an end result if they stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And this, we talked about this, especially in series number 1, where it was a bit lopsided, where Berlin was just not really doing well. But this is the time for you to experiment, for you to figure out what works, how to learn from your own gameplay, how to learn from your opponent. And I think that Gateway has been doing a great job of doing exactly that. They're starting to play more aggressive. They're starting to get out of the net and take more opportunities, more shots at the net.
As we do see, I love Trolley Man cheating forward on that booming clear. I mean, Hollidaysburg still are showing some signs of a very mature team at that same token as well. So it's always going to be a tough match for Gateway in this one. Alpha Key makes the save from the goal line. And now we'll be looking to play this one out. Gets over the top of Shredder Luke. A minute 20 remaining. Look, the 2-goal lead, it's said to be the most dangerous in all of football. By football, I mean soccer, because I forgot this was NA, but call it football, please. It's considered to be the most dangerous lead in all of that. I don't know. If they get 1 goal, anything can happen.
Absolutely. But right now, this sort of interactions, there's an opportunity. Poppy can't get to it in time. Alpha Key is going to be credited for that goal. Let's take another look at that. Alpha Key had a perfect setup. The ball just falls in their lap, and Big Poppy cannot make it back in time. 1 minute and 2 seconds remaining. This is enough time for Gateway to tie it up and take us to overtime.
Yeah, I think Hollidaysburg just got a little bit too comfortable on that attacking half right there. They had no one back on their own defensive side, and the end result is a clear down the middle. I'm a little bit worried because I suspect Hollidaysburg might try to overcompensate, and you kind of see it here. Now they're keeping 2 defenders back almost at any given moment, and that's giving up the middle of the pitch for Gateway to take. This means, I imagine, we could be seeing Gateway on the attack, but no, it's a swing and a miss, and that means more work to be done by the team in green.
Yeah, so where did Shredder Luke go? I felt like that was an open net, an open opportunity for them to take there. But again, any time wasted is a advantage, is a win for Hollidaysburg because they have the advantage. And now that minute has shrunk down to 20 seconds. And Hollidaysburg is putting in the work now.
Yeah, this is it. Final 15 seconds. Gateway. They don't get the breakaway, but the shot from Big Poppy is wide. Last chance for the team in green to make the miracle happen. They're going to press it towards the middle of the field, but already Shredder Luke shutting it down. I don't think it's happening, Hamster. The ball's still on their own backboard. They have to go the distance, and instead it's put down straight away. Hollidaysburg complete the sweep. 3-2 in our game 3.
Yeah, in game 3, Hollidaysburg take it 3-0 for the entire series. You're right. By the end there, Gateway needed to show some exceptional juggling skills, and they just weren't there, unfortunately. But there were a lot of things and a lot of great adaptations coming out from the side of Gateway, especially as we moved into that game 3. There are a lot of things that they can take pride in. Hollidaysburg just ended up playing a bit faster, a bit more together, and a bit more in the air.
And again, like, that last game was the closest game because we saw Gateway willing to take more risks, willing to challenge a bit more in that middle of the field. Granted, their second goal, I think, was more a case of Hollidaysburg being caught out of position, but the first goal was a direct result of them changing their play style, and that's why I want to see more of that moving forwards. But overall, like, when you look at this entire league, we've seen a lot of different styles, we've seen a lot of different skill ranges as we were expecting, and we've seen a lot of ways how these teams can still improve and still look to grow moving forward right now. But that's what's so great about high school leagues, right? We get to see these teams grow. We get to see how they improve. And I do imagine that we can go back in about a month's time and see what they look like now. And we're going to be like, oh my gosh, they've gotten so much better since then.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what we've seen from a lot of these teams is that they have the mechanical skill. They just need to learn better how to implement it, how to focus it, how to work on it. And these players are so young. They're just in high school. There's so much more Rocket League for them to play. There's so much more improvements that they can make. I completely agree with you. That is what is so exciting about high school Rocket League. There's so much more that can be done. And yeah, you said it.
All right. So now I'm going to put you on the spot right here. Are you a Pioneers fan? I know they're from OCE right now, but are you a Pioneers fan if you love your high school so much?
I'm okay. I wouldn't consider myself a fan.
Because guess what? They're all high school. They're all 15 to 16 years old. Like, they are all at that same age as these players. So, the sky is the limit no matter at what stage you are at. And I'm saying, if you want to love the high schools, you want to support them, and you want to support an emerging region like OCE, I'm just saying the Pioneers, they're the team to watch in the major.
I guess
putting that out there.
I guess I'm a fan now. You've convinced me already. Yeah, I guess I was indifferent before, but now I'm a fan, which is actually mind-boggling that they are. You said they're all high schoolers?
115 to 16-year-olds, I believe.
That's insane. That is absolutely crazy.
Look, I have to rep my OS. I have to rep my OCE. I have to do it somehow. Support your emerging regions: OCE, SAM, APAC, MENA, and South Africa. Just getting that plug out there.
Of course, I mean, support your regions. Like, esports is growing. This is a global phenomenon. We see here in the esports company just focusing in the Pennsylvania region, but there's so much esports out there. You got to support everything as much as you can, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. But definitely support your high schools in this event too. That should probably come first. Support your friends, cheer them on. And a big thank you at this stage for all the teams who are participating. A big thank you for all of you tuning in. And right now, the biggest thank you to the first time doing the broadcasting, I believe, or at least very, very new, One Smart Methods behind the scenes. Things ran so smoothly for us right now. And that is a credit to the work done by the production here today.
Yeah, don't forget your production people. They are doing so much work behind the scenes. And of course, we cannot forget St. Francis University. We have to shout them out. A huge thank you to them as well. This will be, as we're wrapping up this broadcast, this will be the end for the broadcast now. But remember, tomorrow, starting at 3:30 EST, the esports company high school leagues Overwatch season continues with Division 1 taking place on twitch.tv/the esport company. And starting at 4:30 p.m. EST, Division 2 is taking place right here on twitch.tv/the TEC High School League. So make sure to follow them on all their socials. Make sure to follow on Twitch as well, so you know whenever they go live. I, of course, have been Alexander T. Kresek. You can follow me on my Twitter, which is at MasterHamsterATK. What about you, Formal?
Formal casting. Just see if you look that up, you'll find me. I'm everywhere. I'd like to assume. I like to assume that.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, that's my.
You heard it here. He's everywhere.
Everywhere. All right. Yeah. At formal casting. You can follow me if you like or don't. I don't know. Up to you. I don't.
All right. And I think with that, that'll be it for us tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been fantastic. Make sure to tune in next week for more Rocket League action because this has been so much fun. But for now, this is Alexander T. Krisak signing off. Have a fantastic night, guys.